Grace, peace, and mercy are yours from the triune God. Amen. Early one crisp summer morning, as the sun rose over the New Hampshire mountains and light slipped through the shades, I turned to my husband and whispered, "Today is the day." My heart pounded. We had planned to climb Mount Washington with the boys, ages 8 and 11, all year. The weather, however, is unpredictable, so you have to take your chance when it comes. Many tourists visit the White Mountains for weeks without realizing they are surrounded by the giant, incredibly gorgeous mountains, the giant peaks, often because the weather hides them. Mount Washington is the highest peak in the northeastern United States, with an elevation of over 6,200 feet and the tree line at 4,000 feet. It sits in the White Mountain National Forest and is famous for its extreme weather, including a world record wind speed of 231 miles per hour. Today is the day. The last time I hiked this trail was with my parents when I was the spry age of 15. We took the Ammonoosuc Ravine Trail, known as the Ammo, up the mountain and came down the Jewel Trail. The whole loop is about 9, 6, 10 miles, and your average hiker usually takes about 6 to 9 hours. Even though we were experienced hikers, we started too late that day and had to finish the last hour in the dark. That taught us all a lesson. That taught me a lesson. To be prepared. I promised myself I wouldn't let that happen with my own family. Today was the day. We packed our hiking boots, extra socks, water, matches, a knife, flashlight, rain gear, wind gear, cheese, crackers, bandanas, and gorp. Gorp, of course, is trail mix with M&Ms. Everyone carried their own day packs or knapsacks in case we got separated. Then we set out. After more than 4 hours, we reached the Lake of the Clouds. The Lake of the Clouds being an AMC hut for hikers on the Appalachian Trail, often called the AT, a badge of honor. Another 1.5 miles to the summit to go. Each boy was in their own world, soaking in God's playground, God's grandeur. We waded in and out of the clouds as they appeared, disappeared, reappeared. The views above tree line were absolutely breathtaking, better than I had remembered. A holy presence with silence, betrayed by the winds dancing around us. We took step after step, trying not to look up to the top so we would not lose our sense of progress. The boys would say, "Only 20 more minutes," and I looked ahead and I'm thinking, no, it's gonna be a lot longer. Julian, our youngest, picked up small rocks, imagining they were gems, priceless gems and minerals, and placed them in his red knapsack. This became his new occupation until Dad said to finally stop. As we all moved on to the top and looped back down to the other side of the summit, on the Jewel Trail, it became a never-ending game of jumping from boulder to boulder downward for hours. Our knees felt it. The sun that had risen so gently was now beginning to descend. Again, each of us was accountable, carrying our own knapsack with the necessary supplies. The weight of the day crept in, and Julian, being 8, eventually handed off the knapsack to my husband, to his dad, who carried it the rest of the way down. But at one point, below tree line, Julian stopped in the middle of the trail. Just stopped. He sat down and decided that he had had enough, that he wasn't going to go anymore. I looked at my husband and I said, "He's yours." No cajoling would make him take another step. And we both knew it, because that was a problem, because we still had 2 miles to go. Brent thought a moment and sidled up to him and said, "Julian, I have a secret." Julian didn't budge, but he was listening. "What?" he said. "My feet hurt. Mom's feet hurt. Fritz's feet hurt. And we are all tired. We are all hungry. But we have to keep going if we are going to get to the end of the trail, to get to our car." And thanks be to God, he got up, and we finished that trail. And once in the parking lot, I picked up Julian's red knapsack by the van to empty it out, as I was emptying every one of them out. And I noticed it was quite heavy for having just the necessities. And zipping it open, I saw it. I saw the gray rocks. Not just one. The pack was filled with gray rocks, over 30 pounds, and I know because I weighed it when we got back. He must have picked up surreptitiously up the Ammonoosuc and down the Jewel Trail. In today's gospel, according to Matthew, Jesus leads 3 of his disciples up the high mountain. Just 6 days after telling all of them, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take their cross and follow me." He began, much to Peter's dismay, to show each that he must go to Jerusalem and face great suffering. This news weighed heavily on James, John, and Peter as they found themselves atop the mountain alongside Jesus. As Julian had been picking up stones and rocks all along the rugged way on that crisp morning, so too were the disciples receiving nuggets of truth about what was to come. Remember, Jesus had said, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not one letter, not one stroke of a letter will pass from the law until all is accomplished." And there before the disciples, They were witnesses to Moses, Elijah, and Jesus in community. A foretaste of days to come. Ananias Nin said, "We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are." James, John, and Peter were witnesses to the holy before them, bringing Moses, Elijah, and Jesus into the here and now by offering to make each a permanent tabernacle of honor, when in reality, it was the eternal truth, a breath of time. At Jesus' baptism, if you remember, we heard the words, "This is my Son, the beloved, with him I am well pleased." Yet today, it is a direct command to 3 of Jesus' disciples. "This is my Son, the beloved, with him I am well pleased. Listen to him." Listen to him. Are you listening? Do you hear him with marginalized? Do you sit with him beside the vulnerable? Do you make room for him in the silence? Do you stand with him in restorative justice? Do you act with him in courageous truth? Do you check out your own biases before pointing out the speck in another's eye? Do you lament with him? In your leaflet, there's an insert about the Reverend Absalom Jones, who, along with Richard Allen, taught us that sometimes we have to get up off our knees and, with God's guidance, go out into the world to effect change. Richard Allen and the Reverend Absalom Jones, thanks be to God, they were listening. Listen to him. We all pick up rocks along the road and place them in our knapsacks and carry them. But today I ask, pick up your red knapsack and walk with Jesus. Get up and do not be afraid. Amen.